guys, welcome back. So in this video I'm going to share my idea and my perspective about how to deal with loneliness and where does it stem from. So let's get into it. So we have to understand that being alone and feeling lonely is two different things. It's not the same. Now if you're feeling alone, if you are alone, then it means you are alone. You are in your own solitude and you are enjoying your own company. Now if you feel lonely and this is existential crisis, it could happen to you at any age. If you are sort of isolated, or if you are in your adolescence, if you are an adult, if you are in your midlife, 45, 50, or old age. So this can happen to us at any point of time in our lives, and we have to understand why it does happen to us. So one of the perspective from a personal growth way is this is a time when all the unhealed part of ourselves comes up. We think too much about things, and it is too much sometimes. So what happens is, when we are kids, all the things as we grow up gets below the unconscious parts of ourselves and gets below there, which becomes our beliefs. Now anytime we are lonely with our own thoughts, these things come up the surface, and sometimes it is hard to deal with your own mind, which creates overthinking. Now how to stop overthinking is another section, another point which I will discuss at some point over here. But now, yeah, getting back to the loneliness, is the innermost feeling that you get from within, that no matter what, if you are surrounded by 100 people, or you have everything you need in your life right now, you're living in a mansion or have like 5 or 10 cars, and you have everything that you can dream of. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging here, but just to explain you that no matter what you have, no matter what you have achieved in your life, you can still feel the inner feeling of emptiness and void within yourselves. And it could also be attributed to something that is like you're not truly connected to yourself, and you have a problem to process the unconscious part, which comes up as overthinking, which comes up to the surface of the awareness, which we have to process. um, so yeah, if this is from personal development perspective, this is the best time for us to observe our thoughts, not attach ourselves to it, but really observe our thoughts. One tip I have to stop you guys from overthinking is just stop controlling it. Let the thoughts flow through and observe them. Learn to observe your thoughts. And now, one of the tips I can give you about overthinking is, think yourself as someone who is like a vast sky, and your thoughts are like clouds. Have you ever seen a sky attached to clouds? No, it doesn't. It is just there with the clouds. The clouds come and go. So it is scientifically proven that our brains think 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Now, why I'm stretching this point of overthinking right now is because when you feel lonely, and you think and you get into your head too much rather than your heart, things start to go downways sometimes, because you make assumptions. Your brain is really good at making assumptions about things, and making you suffer, because the more you assume something, the more it doesn't go that way, um, and then the more it sort of makes you suffer. Now, from a spiritual perspective, loneliness is just the beginning of another chapter in your life. And if you are feeling lonely, you know I have empathy for you, and I would say you are not alone. um, Also understand why loneliness is an important part of your life, that redefines your relationships, that redefines your identity, that redefines everything, and redefines your priority in your lives, and it makes you a different person. When you learn to deal with it on your own. Also, you need mentors and people in your life at the same time. I'm not saying you need to totally isolate yourself. That's not healthy for a long period of time. But also, if you're dealing it on your own and you're working through it, and you are bringing the unconscious part of yourself that you've never worked through, and you're trying to understand how your brain works, how your beliefs, how you are programmed in a certain way, why you feel so lonely, why you have lost the connection within yourselves, connection of yourselves, and I can say it's sort of a really good starting point for you to feel this way. And if you're feeling lonely, I would say you're not alone, and take this as a positive step of going into the right direction, and your life will change for the better, and you will become the better person when you get through it. Because what happened to me is, uh, in my life in 2017, when I become isolated, I was always alone, in my own tune, doing things. But 2017 was something when I become really isolated, and I moved to completely new place, and I went through a period of loneliness in my life. I used to always like work on myself, on personal development, and how to become a better human being and how to become a better person. But in this case, I was exposed to something uncertain, and which I've been never exposed to. So this was a good point for me, for my spiritual awakening to happen. And if I had too much voice outside, and if I would be surrounded by many people around myself, which is basically the energy of people, I would be never be able to go deep within myself and make those realizations that I had right now, and learn about my own self. And there's a term in Latin called know thyself. So if you know thyself, then then you know the universe, because the whole universe is inside of you. So coming back to my story, so I was, in the beginning of my loneliness, when I was isolated, or rather I was on my own, I used to go around, waste my time. After I still used to go to work for my daily job that I had, which I still have, just to support myself while I work through this, navigate my life. So I used to waste my time, go around, eat food, um, try to satisfy myself with food. I used to drink alcohol before, which I don't drink now, or say very rarely I drink now. So that was the period of time when I felt like really lost, and I felt like I'm lost, and really started to question my life. What is my purpose, and what is the meaning of my life? It was sort of existential crisis, and everyone in their life will go through this. There's a bitter truth of life anyway. So I learned a lot about myself while I go through this process of learning about myself. I would try to give you some assurance, like what I needed in my life earlier, while I had some mentors and people that I followed online, which really helped me. So I'm here, if you guys want to share anything, or give your tell me what you're experiencing. And if this video helped you in any way, or give you some assurance that you are on right path, and I'm telling you, if you are feeling lonely, you are on right path. And take it positively, take it with a grain of salt, and be courageous, be brave, and embrace it. The more you resist something, the more it will make you suffer. The more acceptance you will bring to something, and the more you allow it to happen to you. The universe has bigger plans for us. It is doing things for us and not to us. So we should understand these synchronicities and the alignment. The only thing we need to do is align ourselves to it, and let it do what it's doing to us. Because when you awaken to your true potential and your divinity through loneliness, or rather say solitude, either way, But loneliness is something which is extreme, and solitude is something sort of positive, enjoying your own company and learning about yourself. um, so yeah, when you accept this, things will start to change for you, and I'm here to tell you that you are on right path. So I'll end this video over here. I'll see you guys in the next one.